today's talk. So welcome everyone to our talk of upcoming magnificence, which is a very special talk that I've been preparing for, of course, for myself first, to be aware of what is to come in the world and in my life. But the more I was researching the different placements, the different activities that were showing themselves from the perspective of Vedic astrology, the clearer and clearer it became that this is something big that I wanted to share with all of you. So I am really excited to share this. As a reminder, what this talk is going to look like is that I will first explain what do I mean by transits events. Some of you have more information or less information about how Vedic astrology works. So I'm just going to explain it in very direct terms, not to go too much deeply into the specifics and math and science, which we can, but we can do that for another time. I'll tell you what it looks like. And I will also go sign by sign on the 12 zodiac signs. I'm not doing nakshatra today, only the 12 zodiac signs, to tell you what it looks like, what to expect for each one of your signs. But it's going to be a triple benefit, a triple thread there that I'll explain later. And then I'm also going to give you a secret method that you can start using right now, that you can start using today to further prepare and anticipate to the big events that are to come from this perspective now. Before we begin, just to clarify, you can all hear me okay? You can all see me okay? You can all see my presentation? Okay, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys. So here, first thing I want to mention from the perspective of Vedic astrology. This is our little menu for today. Vedic astrology calculates differently than traditional Western astrology. So you may see some difference there that are important to note. But I will give you something that will further guide you. If you do not have any familiarity with Vedic astrology, if it's new for you, if you haven't heard of it yet, if you don't know what your Vedic sign is, please don't worry. This is something that we can discuss and we can arrange a reading and all these things, right? So what I want to give to you is what I have been researching for, what month is this? This is the 4th month. We're almost at the 5th month. So I've been looking at this for about 7 months. More so than you spreading the information, which does have its use, I want you to inspire people. Whatever you encounter from this reading that is truly relevant and amazing, take that, and whatever information, whatever emotional information comes up, you can use the emotional information to inspire people, but don't spread as in preaching, right? So don't tell them, okay, Jupiter is coming at your areas like this with Rahu, so that's going to mean that blah, 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 and therefore this is going to happen. More so tell them how you felt. Listen, I received this information and it's making me feel this way. Let's more inspire people and use the information for integration, which takes longer time than the emotional information. So that is just an encouragement that I want to give you. And hopefully someone will become inspired and be like, okay, who is this guy who looks like an alien and gave this talk? Okay, let's use this for information. Let's invite them to the programs. So just for those of you who may not know me, which I think most of you do, I'm a yoga professor. I studied at the only yoga university in the world in India, and I have several other studies that I didn't write here. And I am a specialist in 2 things: Jyotish, which is the Vedic astrology, and therapeutic yoga. I may or may not be an alien. That is to be revealed in the future. What are the tools that we're going to use, that we're going to look at? We're going to use a software that is basically a glorified calculator called Jagannatha Hora. It's a free software that I can send you a link for you to download, or you can Google the name. This software was developed by a Vedic astrologer who is very proficient in math. And you can use the software yourself to calculate stuff. And if you're using the software, you have any questions, you can always shoot me a message. I will actually create a WhatsApp group where any people who may be using the software or other tools can send me messages and be like, oh, you know what, it's not calculating correctly, or I don't know how to calculate the time zones, blah, blah, blah. It's just basically a huge calculator. The other tool that I encourage you to use is called Cosmic Insights. It's an app also developed by Vedic astrologers. It's a very beautiful app, and I am an ambassador of the app. It's an app that I use all the time. Those who have actually spent time with me know that I always have the app with me and I check it literally 10 times a day. Well, probably more. Every single thing that I do is scheduled with cosmic insights. Why? Because it's just Vedic astrology. So everything that I do in my life, I schedule it with the perspective of what sign is available. This is why we have the talk today. Because today is the universal star of victory, which is great for contacting people. It's great for sessions like this. It's great for business. It's great for identifying what do I want to win in life? What do I want to find in life? So even this session was scheduled with that perspective. So we can use these tools for further information. One key thing about Vedic astrology, everyone, whatever information I'm about to give you is qualities that are going to be present. Qualities of nature, as it were. You are not meant to be ruled by them. You are meant to transcend them. So one key thing about Vedic astrology is that if we say you're an Aries, it doesn't mean, oh, you're only impetuous, intense, stubborn, and you go, 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 and you never stop. If you are in that state, that means that there's a lot of reconciliation to be done within yourself, because that is, as it were, the lower quality of the sign. Whatever qualities are there are for you to transcend, for you to master, and for you to evolve more towards another one of your signs, which is actually your moon sign in transcendence, as well as whatever sign is in opposition to you. So if I'm an Aries, I am not supposed to say, oh yes, I am fire and blah, 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 blah. These are qualities that I can use. If I behave too much like an Aries person, that means that I'm not doing my job. So that is why memes and cliche don't fit here. If you think of a Leo as this person who is very egotistical and has a big personality only, blah, 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 that is a very limited perspective of what a Leo might be. That is the shallow perspective, right? Like Leos are all about their image, blah, blah, blah. That is a limited perspective, and that is a Leo who has not begun its spiritual maturity. A good Leo is actually an incredible blessing, who is a great leader, usually a political leader, and is also incredibly creative, for example. So transcend the qualities that I will describe today. So what are the transits that are going to happen? What do we mean by that? What are we here for, right? So what is going on? The transits basically means that there are certain planets moving in a particular way in perspective from the Earth. And that when that happens, certain qualities become more available than others, right? So here I have put a few signs for us to start becoming familiar with it. Here I have, I hope you can see my cursor. You can see my cursor, right? My little light here. This symbol here is a symbol of Jupiter. And this little drawing here is Jupiter. You'll recognize Jupiter often because it has like these whirlpools that look like a third eye. Jupiter is a very, very important planet in all forms of astrology. Jupiter will be doing a transit. It's going from one sign to another. It's going into what sign? It's going to the sign of Aries. This is the symbol of Aries, right? And what else is doing a transit? One of the big players for the transit I have right here is called Rahu, R-A-H-U, which is what in traditional astrology they might call the North Node. So Jupiter and Rahu are the main players for what I will talk about today, are the main players for what I've been studying, and are the main players that I want you to watch out for in the world and in your chart, because it's going to be different for each one of us depending on our charts. So both Jupiter and Rahu are going into Aries, are going to be into Aries. But there's more key players there that I'll explain in a moment. Now, Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter going to Aries is one of the main events or transits that we'll talk about. The planet Jupiter will transition from Pisces into Aries, and this will happen on the 11th house. Of course, this is all things that I will explain. And the other topic is the Guru Chandal Yoga. Guru is Jupiter. What does that mean? In the language that this tradition comes from, which is Sanskrit, the planet Jupiter is not called Jupiter, right? So in Spanish, it's not Jupiter, it's Júpiter, etc. so forth. What is the name of Jupiter in Sanskrit? It's actually Guru, which is a very, very powerful and sacred word for Sanskrit. Guru is, of course, the word we associate with a great teacher. not a sales guru, right? Not a marketing guru, but a divine master who is beyond the qualities of nature. Guru literally means that which goes from darkness into light, from contraction into expansion. Guru is another form of saying grace. It's that which teaches you. So it may have the form of a teacher, or it may have a completely different form. Guru basically is everything that's in front of you that is making you move from darkness into light. So if you just commit to that, like, oh, if that is true, then I can consider that everything that is in front of me can make me grow and transcend. Isn't that such a beautiful, uplifting way to view life and things? So Guru is a planet, right? Guru is also Shiva. Guru is also Brahaspati. But not to go into much detail, what is the planet Jupiter in astrology is very, very, very important. And there's another planet that I mentioned there, the North Node, which is a shadow planet. Guru is a physical planet. It's this big gas planet in space, right? With all the moons. I'm sure you all know it. And then Rahu. Rahu is not a physical planet. We can say more so than Rahu is like a point in the sky. So it's what we call a shadow planet. But mind you, none of the qualities that I will say today are bad or negative. They are just qualities, right? So when Guru reaches Rahu and they come together in the same place, this is called a Guru Chandal Yoga. Yoga means union as well. Rahu is Chandal, the North Node. When two planets come into the same house, that is called a conjunction. And that means that they don't have only their power, they have their power and somebody else. And I'll give you a visual description of what that means, what that looks like in a moment. I want to pause this because I want to show you now beautiful, beautiful Jagannath Hora. Right. So I hope you can see my other screen now. This is called Jagannath Hora. This is well, like I said, this is the software that we use to calculate. And I love showing this off. Recently, we were with friends in another country, and this friend of ours, it was hilarious. He was saying, why does it look like that? Like this is from 1995 or something like that. I just love that. I have no idea, guys, why the software looks like this. Unfortunately, my talents as a software designer are not as good to design it, but he is totally right. And I found that hilarious. It's very typical of sometimes software design. It's very clear for me to use, but it's also because I got used to it. But granted, it looks very old. So this is the software that we use to calculate, right? This is my beautiful, beautiful calculator that I love showing off. It's incredibly detailed and complex, and it really allows us to see anything and everything in any dimension we can possibly conceive about astrology, right? So I want you to just take a look at this little square that I am selecting here where it says natal chart. Here I have selected a date, which is April 22nd, 2023. This is a date that I want you guys to write down. Because I said this is a big transit that is happening. This is when it starts, April 22nd, 2023. And it's going to end on October 31st. In that day, Jupiter will go into Aries, and the famous Guru Chandal Yoga that I mentioned earlier is going to start. So if you look at this chart that I have here, we have the word K, K-E here in this little triangle. This is a house. This whole square is a chart. It's divided into tiny little squares and triangles. Each one of them is a house. This is your life. And it's divided in 12, which are the different dimensions of life that are available for you. And this particular position called Ketu, K-E, is in one house. That means that that house, whatever that house means, is ruled by Ketu. Each house rules a dimension of your life, and each planet has certain qualities. Each planet has certain powers that it wants to give you. But when two planets come together like these, Venus and Moon, they create a conjunction. For example, on April 22nd, we'll have many conjunctions here. Rahu, Jupiter, Sun, and Mercury retrograde, all at the same time in the 11th house. So there's a lot going on in that 11th house on April 22nd. That's when things will kick into gear. So That's for you to see what a conjunction looks like. So going back here, all right. So the two events that we'll look at is Jupiter in Aries, the Guru Chandal Yoga. I will explain first what Jupiter is. Jupiter, as like I said, is the Guru. It symbolizes wisdom, it's grace, it's spirituality, and it is defining key moments in your life, such as like a teacher appearing on your life or marriage. So it's a key thing in the life. Whenever something big happens in our lives, it's because of Jupiter, it's because of Guru. It also rules expansion, gains, and growth. So even weight gain. So people who are very Jupiter ruled may gain a lot of weight, for example. This is why people who are Sagittarius sign, which is ruled by Jupiter, may also gain a lot of weight when they are in their Jupiter periods. So it's about gaining, it's about expansion, it's about teacher, right? And the other key player, like I mentioned, is Rahu, which also deals with obsession, but a little bit differently. With expansion, sorry. It's expansion, but intense. So it's like knowing you're going to get it, but you fixate yourself too much on it. So people who have a quote unquote bad Rahu, they become addicts in gambling or substances, or they hyper obsess on something. But Rahu also is a positive planet. It can be a positive planet because this is the planet that may make you win the lottery. It, however, may make you obsessive compulsive. This is the planet also that rules madness, insanity in the mind. This is a planet that symbolizes losing your head, anger, confusion. And it does also have key life events, such as when things end very dramatically and you receive great revelations, like a breakdown that leads to a breakthrough. So these are the key players of this important transit that we will have. Now, what's going to happen now is that Jupiter is going into Aries. What does that mean? Before Jupiter can go into Aries, it is in another sign, which is Pisces, right? If we look at the chart of all the 12 signs, from Pisces, we go into Aries. Pisces is a water sign, Aries is a fire sign. When something goes from water into fire, this is called a Gandanta. Or we can just imagine when you have something extremely deep in water, but it's also very intense, like fiery, coming out of it can be quite a dramatic event. The image that always comes to mind is the blacksmiths. When they are beating the iron and it gets red and hot and it goes into the water, it goes down there to transform, and then it comes out as something completely different. That is the process that we are entering now. So for the past few days, and until the 22nd of April, you may have been facing certain challenges, like things aren't moving, like there's confusion, like you don't know what you want to do in business, like you may question who you are, like you may question your life path as a professional, your spiritual path even. Like there are things coming to the surface, like you are repeating patterns of your life, but this is just a clarifying process that leads to something else. Now, once April 22nd kicks in, like I said, things will kick into gear and you'll have about 4 days of stability. April 26th is again when things will kind of be a little bit murky, a little bit challenging. I'm going to give you guys some more specific dates as well. But if you position yourself in the correct way, you will be able to see the qualities that are playing in life, in the world, and the qualities that are at play in you. So what Jupiter in Aries is going to do, basically, is that Jupiter is a planet of expansion, gains, growth, all these things that you saw. It's going into Aries. Jupiter is a guru, and it belongs on the sign of Pisces. When it is on the sign of Pisces, it's meditating. Imagine the greatest teacher that you could possibly have in your life, or perhaps you already have met such a great teacher. Imagine them in the deepest meditation that they could possibly have. What's going to happen when they come out of that meditation? This is your best life teacher. This is your guru. And he's meditating for you. When he comes out of meditation, you're going to start feeling it. Perhaps you're going to feel a little bit afraid. Oh, what's he going to tell me? I'm sure he has discovered something that could be extremely challenging or extremely beneficial. So he may be coming very intensely. When Jupiter goes into Aries, he becomes very centered in himself. What is Aries? Aries is self-centered, for good or ill. It's extremely creative and procreative. It is impulsive. It is powerful. It is not stubborn. It just wants to go. It just wants to move. It just wants to create. It is the fire. It is a spark, explosions. It is constant boom. It's not the held fire of Leo, nor is the directed fire of Sagittarius. It is bursting, bursting, bursting. So for the next 6 months until October 31st, it's going to be explosion after explosion, after explosion, after explosion. Very disruptive, very destructive, again, for good or ill. There are good factors and there are negative factors. Just to give you a point of reference, what are some of the things that happens when Jupiter comes into Aries? Because this happened once before, 12 years ago. Do you all remember where you were in your lives 12 years ago? Just take a moment to think about that. I know very well where I was. I was starting my spiritual journey. 12 years ago is when I started doing yoga. After a period of extreme confusion and darkness, something, you may have heard the story. I have this story somewhere, right? Something took over me, something possessed me. And what happened? I came to, and I was entering a yoga situation. It's a long story. That is the transit that we're in. Now, would you guys like to hear what happened in the world last time this happened, 12 years ago? Write down in the chat if you want to hear it. Write yes or no. Because you may say, oh, I'm not sure if I want to see that. Yeah. So I want to tell you a few things that happened and see if you can start noticing a bit of a theme going on with how things were 12 years ago. So let me pull up the notes here. So 12 years ago, last time this happened was when the movement known as the Arab Spring was being born. You may or may not have heard of this. If you haven't heard of it, I encourage you to Google or even ChatGPT any of the things. I am not well, I think I am promoting ChatGPT, and I would encourage you all to use it because in the next few months in the transit that is to come, it would be imperative that you all get on top of what's happening with AI and all those things. I really, 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 really encourage it as part of the transit. Another thing that happened is that a vaccine for malaria was finally released to the public. An important thing that happened here in Mexico is that there is a town called Charan. If you're Mexican, you know where I'm headed with this. It's a town that got fed up with how things are in the world, with politics locally and in the federal government and worldwide. And they decided, we are a community. And they kicked out all the cops and all the politicians. And they decided to be their own unique place in the world. So it's a tiny town in Mexico that is basically their own country. And they're doing pretty good. Charan. So what else happened is that there was huge advances in medicine for HIV, AIDS, and cancer. It's also when 4G mobile network became available. There was also a very important earthquake in New Zealand, the Fukushima disaster, which I remember watching live. I was playing online video games back then. I remember being up at night very, very late. And I remember live seeing some of the people that I was playing were reacting as it was happening. This is also when Game of Thrones premiered, for those of you who may have been fans of the show. This is also when the Guantanamo Bay leaks happened. So long ago, yes. Obama announced that Osama bin Laden had been, they were, of course, trying to apprehend him, or I don't remember all the exact details, but the Osama bin Laden situation, they killed Osama bin Laden. This is also when water was discovered on the moon by my good friend Mars, the rover. This is also when Occupy Wall Street happened. Minecraft was also made available. Not the novel by Adolf Hitler, the hit game, which is, by the way, the biggest video game ever. Also, Curiosity rover was also launched from Mars. And I don't mean to say that this is like my name, but I want you to even see that even the names that were chosen for these things are important. Occupy, Minecraft, Mars, the earthquakes, Game of Thrones, all these things, right? The documentary for Kony 2012 was released. Several coup d'etat were also took place. And this is also, by the way, when Vladimir Putin became president. So can you all feel a theme rising with this? Is it yes or no? So, like I said, highly disruptive movements in direction and power, highly destructive changes that affect the way everything else is in the world. Things that happen that would make things change and never go back. At least in people's hearts, at least in people's memories. So when Jupiter goes into Aries, is an incredible opportunity for growth. But how am I going to grow through destruction? Imagine, however, you know that destruction leads to creation. You know that sometimes when you have breakdowns, you'll go through a breakthrough. But now I'm telling you in advance, you have more than a week to write down, reflect, and prepare. What do I need to let go of so that I can be ready? You're going to have to be brutal. You're going to have to be very sincere, and you have to write it down. You can't leave it in your mind. I really encourage you, do not leave it in your mind. Write it down. What do I need to let go of? What does it need to be destroyed in me so that I can actually be myself and not the notion, not the idea that I have of myself? It's the earth breaking apart. It's the heads of state crumbling. It's new directions. It's false leaders being exposed, especially because of the Rahu placement, the Guru Chandal Yoga. So what to watch out for this year? What is this year going to look like? So during this year, one of the main things is that not only is it a period of huge transformation, it is also a period when you need to be extremely careful with the information that is being spread. It's going to be like a 6-month period of intense, sort of what Mercury retrograde is known for. Mercury retrograde has a bad rap. All retrograde planets have a bad rap, but that is all false. Actually, retrograde planets are amazing if you know how to handle their energies. However, now we're going to experience a period that does actually feel like Mercury retrograde. There's going to be a lot of confusion. There's going to be a lot of technology. There's going to be a lot of information available, and a lot of it is going to be manipulated. So you need to be very careful on what's going to happen. One key thing that's going to happen is that whoever is in charge of anything, if they are mistaken on the path that they have chosen, they will be revealed. And this is actually already taking place. Spiritual leaders, for example, spiritual leaders who are actually supposed to be political leaders, or who should have taken a political stance, or who should have come out and be political, but didn't, are going to be flushed out one way or another. False religion is going to be exposed. Yes, Nora is asking, are we going to have to be careful with our information? Yes, I will explain sign by sign what that looks like. Because there's going to be a lot of scams, a lot of falsehood, and a lot of it is going to come for 2 reasons. Either 3 reasons. You're not communicating well, emission of information, or you're not hearing well. And now if I tell you, be honorable, be ethical, you're all going to be like, yes, of course, I know that. You don't know. Oh, I will. How could you think that of me? Of course. And it's true. But here's the thing. A lot of really honorable people are going to, quote unquote, switch to the dark side, because whatever they love the most is going to be basically taken hostage by the circumstances of life. That's what makes people turn to that side. So for you, whatever you have in your heart as most precious, don't be surprised if in this year that kind of comes out as in being sort of in peril, and then you need to make a very unjust, unfair, or unethical decision to protect it. So what's going to take from you is actually you're going to have to sacrifice and surrender what you think you love the most. And what's going to happen is that if your soul is really meant to love that, then that will remain. But if you were in an illusion, then it wasn't love, it was an attachment disguised as love, and something very powerful will break down so you can release it. This is also what's happening with the Dalai Lama. It's not about what's happening with him and the boy, it's what's happening with everyone else. Like I said in the talk that I gave about this recently, it's about realizing that 99% of Buddhists are not even Tibetan. It's exposing false religion. And a lot of what we hold dear to our hearts of the romantic idea of spirituality, the romantic idea of Buddhism and the Tibet and all these things is going to come to the surface. So a lot of people are going to be moved towards spiritual maturity. Or a lot of people are just going to become extremely materialistic. Jupiter gives you spiritual maturity, Rahu makes you materialistic. But those two do not need to be against one another. Those two can come together. But I hope you can appreciate how hard combining those two into one cocktail can be. Because we want spiritual maturity. I know that if I ask you, hey, do you want spiritual maturity? You're all going to say yes. But if I show you the bill, oh, this is the price you're going to have to pay, a lot of you would think twice. Because it can destroy everything that you think that you have. It can be highly disruptive. So it's a period that is going to give you great expansion. So you're going to have to balance two energies a lot. Your spiritual maturity and your materialistic nature. And again, what you hold most precious to your heart is definitely going to come to the surface and you're going to be challenged. Is that making sense so far? Is it sounding a little bit tough? A little bit? I have better news, guys. Don't worry. I don't mean to scare you. But I do want you to be brave, and I do want you to be prepared, and I do want you to be ready. So, what to watch out for this year, everyone? This is general things. This year, more than any year before, you must care for your health. You need to prioritize your health. Jupiter is in Aries, but guess what? It's not only Jupiter. Mercury is there. The sun is there. Rahu is there. All these planets are extremely important, are there? So, without being egotistical, you need to be, in a very healthy way, self-centered. Care for your rhythms, care for your discipline, care for your diet, care for your meditation, your breathing practices, your physical practices. You need to make yourself stable. And once you make yourself stable, then do whatever else. So prioritize yourself more than ever before. More than ever before, be stable in yourself. Of course, you're going to have to be brave. You have to break down limitations, all these things. But you need to stabilize yourself first and foremost. And not take any impulsive decisions. And watch out, because there's a lot of falsehood going to come. But that falsehood, you need to be very careful with. And it's going to express itself differently for each and every single one of you, depending on your signs and depending on your chart. You're going to feel, especially after the 20th of April, which is when the solar eclipse is happening, you're going to feel that water and fire energy coming very strongly. You may feel like you're being forced in a corner. You may feel like, God, I prayed so much. Why aren't you responding? Why aren't things working? Why have I invested so much in business? Business is not moving. Why is my relationship stuck? Why is my family stuck? Why is my health stuck? You may feel like there's a lack of information, like someone's not telling you something, or like you can't hear yourself, like there's no advice, and that will happen in the world. Imagine the entire world being in that push and pull energy of confusion and high intense spiritual desire, but high intense materialistic desire. This will create a lot of disruption in the world. So there's going to be a lot of natural disasters, a lot of coup d'etats, and a lot of angry situations. So there's going to be war, there's going to be difficulties, there's going to be challenges. And we must learn to navigate this to the best that we can. You must detach yourself, you must stay at a healthy distance, but you must not remain indifferent. We're all going to be in a very fine line where we need to be leaders and we're going to need to communicate, but at the same time, we need to be extremely careful with what we say. Very few of us are going to need to be controversial. Very few of us, but some of us will have to. So the intense period for after the eclipse, you may find like there's some toughness there after the 20th of April, then 22nd of April, you're going to have 4 days of chill until the 26th of April. If I'm going to fast on the dates, send me a message and I'll send it on chats as well. And then you're going to have some stability from the 26th of April till the 5th and 6th of May. After the 5th and 6th of May, relationships that we're fighting will come to the surface so that they can be resolved. And you're going to enter a new period of stability. But that stability is also going to involve a lot of work. It's not stability as it is today or as the stability that you wanted, that you loved from 6 months ago. It's a new form stability, so you're going to have to detach from your idea of stability and enter the new stage of stability. Right, so care for your health, everyone. Care for your lungs, care for your head, and care for your stress. I've already started seeing it that Rahu-dominated places, Rahu-dominated families are getting a lot of troubles there. Even in my family, it's already happening. Problems in the head, problems with stress. You must be very exact on the following things. You must be very exact and careful on anything that is documents and anything that is legal, and also the implications of such. Your integrity is going to get challenged, so you need to be very careful on saying, okay, I was asked to do this, and I said I was going to be there in 5 minutes. You're going to have to be there in 5 minutes. And if you're not, you're going to have to make sure that it is known that you couldn't be there in 5 minutes, and you need to apologize and be responsible for the consequences. Don't wing it. Practice integrity to a very high level. Integrity, I don't mean social integrity. I mean integrating your mind with your words, with your actions, and saying, okay, if I say I'm going to do 10 push-ups, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. And if I couldn't do 10 push-ups, I need to tell someone, I failed today, I couldn't do 10 push-ups. You're going to have to practice integrity in that way. If you say, you do. And if you don't do, you become responsible of the consequence. You need to practice integrity at a very firm level. Some of you who have been around me in the past few days in conversations, I already told them about this for how the transit is looking on the year, but it actually applies for most of us. Write down the following period as well, guys. 27th of May to the 4th of June. The key word is remember who you are. Remember why you're here. Remember what you want, your honorable side. You're going to be challenged between these dates. 27th of May to the 4th of June is going to be very intense. You need to be careful. There might be accidents. There might be anger. There might be arguments. So don't argue with those that you love. Let it go. Drop it. Most things can wait. Especially throughout the entirety of the period, but on these dates that I said, I expect that there's going to be huge impacts on heads of state, kings, and leaders who are supposed to be spiritual and political leaders of all kinds as well. All right, making sense so far? All right, let me just take a look here at my notes, make sure that I am not missing anything. Now I'm realizing I'm already a bit ahead of the time, but still there's quite a few more things that I want to tell you guys. What was the other date? 27th of May to the 4th of June. Right, so here you have very basic information about ascendant sign and moon. I'm about to go and tell you right now on each of the 12 signs a sort of estimation of what things are going to look like. Okay, so whatever sign you are, I've got you. I'm going to go through all 12 of you, right? If you have questions about the dates, we'll send them. Oh, I think Tiff is sending them too. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to tell you these 3 sections, and I'm going to go through all the 12 signs. So if I say Aries and you're an Aries ascendant, it applies to you. If you're an Aries moon or an Aries sun, it also applies to you, but a little bit differently. If you don't know what you are, you should schedule a reading. Ascendant, moon, and sun are different areas of your life. Ascendant is how the body is, the head, and the shallow, the surface expression of your mind, your ego, your basic lower nature. Ascendant is the example I gave at the beginning of Aries and Leo. That is the basic nature. That is what you are, what you have to work with, basically how the body structure is, and what you have to work with to transcend. That's why it's called an ascendant, a rising. You're not meant to be that way. You need to transcend. The moon relates, of course, to your mind and your emotions. There's a part of you that's friendly, and the part of you that is moving. In terms of spirituality, it's your reflection, your receptivity. And then the sun is your ego, how you get along or don't get along, your external expression, how you go in society. It may make you social or not. It may also depend on your mood. This is also your political power and your boundaries. It's also, in the spiritual sense, the light of your soul and your deepest spiritual desire. So sun is ego and the core of what you want. Moon is emotions and mind. And ascendant is the basic composition. Making sense? I'm going to leave it on the screen anyways, guys. I'm going to pause the share here, actually. It's still on the screen, isn't it? Right. So keep that there. And now I'm going to tell you on all the 12 signs. So for each one of us on your signs, how it looks like. Ready? Okay, so here we go. For Aries, you still see the presentation, right? You're not seeing my notes because I don't want you guys to see my notes. Right. For Aries, this period is going to be full of misunderstandings. The focus is on you, for yourself, and others will focus on you. You may feel like you're walking on eggshells, like you're tiptoeing. You may feel intense sexuality, and you may be in a fighting mood. Whatever changes for business are coming are going to be very exciting, but don't change it on impulse. This is what you need to watch out for. In business, there may be scams. If someone promises you something that it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying be careful. If it sounds too good to be true, reflect, consult with others. And if it feels good, go for it. And also when you're traveling, you need to watch at the tiny details. Like, did I pack my contacts? Did I pack my glasses? Not the big details of travel, the small details of travel. You need to exercise. You need to write down your creativity. And you're going to have a lot of creativity. You may have a million amazing ideas. I want you to understand that this transit for Aries is going to be the best one. Aries, you're going to have the best time in this transit. But you need to watch your creativity. Write down that idea that sounds amazing but impossible, and allow yourself to make it real. The focus is on you. Jupiter is with you. This is the best time for Aries. Once you identify what is that amazing idea that you feel it's impossible, identify how it feels in your body and do a visualization exercise. Write it down in your journal and meditate. Always be honorable and realistic. You may find a lot of profit this year, a lot of happiness, a lot of friends. But like I said, and this is true for everyone, you need to let go of something. You're always ready to go, so don't question it. Whatever distance you have in your intimate relationship, that's going to get fixed. But you need to remain good and optimistic. And you're going to find like you're very romantic. You're going to have a lot of success. You're going to have a lot of wealth. Yes, this is based on Vedic astrology, correct. You need to make sure that your business agreements are always checked. Even don't check them yourself. Always give them to someone to check. Give them to your wife, give them to your husband to check. You're going to have a lot of inspiration, but a lot of dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is going to show you what you need to let go of. That doesn't mean that it's all going to be good. You're also going to feel a little bit overwhelmed. There's a lot of things happening, but it's good for luck. Buy lottery tickets. It's good for your career, but you must stay ethical and honest. Tell the truth. Create truth practices. Reflect on when you've been lying in the past and do exercise about this. So Tiff, for example, has seen me reflecting on even the lies that I've told in my life. And this is going to make you hypersensitive to the truth, hypersensitive to lies. So it's good also to study. And moving on to Taurus. Taurus, this is a very, 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 very good moment for your communication, and stuff that you were not giving attention to is going to come to the surface. You need to say goodbye to the past. It's a moment of truth. And whatever finances are out of control, you need to deal with it now. It's all coming to the surface. So you need to share and communicate a lot more. Whatever decisions are coming, don't make them rush. Don't be an Aries. Wait, right? Whatever high expenses may be, you need to start thinking very carefully about them. You may find that there's a lot of murkiness and like a funky feeling or a funky smell when it comes to spending large amounts of money in one go. You may spend large amounts of money in several different things, but large investments are a little bit tricky. That's where you need to be careful. That's where Rahu may want to pull the rug from under you, especially if you want to buy a home. So if you're trying to invest big amounts on one thing, be extra careful. Again, I'm not saying don't do it, just be careful. You may also find that there's a lot of wealth coming from foreign connections, online connections. Foreigners want to do business with you. People who live in different countries than you will bring you great business. It's good for traveling overseas as well. But it's also, you need to be careful, Taurus. This is not the time to be materialistic. You're already materialistic. You need to be allowing yourself to go into more spirituality, because this is the window where you can deepen your spirituality. All spiritual knowledge will come to you easy. Teachers will come to you easy. People are urging, they are itching to teach you. And you subconsciously are getting there. So this is like the best spirit for your spirituality. And you know it, but you need to make it real. It's also amazing if you're living with your partner at home. For Taurus, it's a great time for the relationships. If you're single and you want to find a new partner, next year is a little bit better for that. Save your money, don't spend too much, make donations to charity. That's going to help you with your finances. And however good last year ended, this next year will end a lot better. You're going to have to detach yourself because there's going to be a lot of loss as well. But you keep your hard work and that's going to be rewarded. You need to be mindful again of your spiritual inclination and focus on the divine. That's where all will come from. Your meditation will help you. Even if you feel like you're a beginner in meditation and spirituality, this is where your gains are coming from. It's good for you to travel overseas, and you may feel like you want to move your money, like you want to spend your money, but you need to be very careful because there's a lot of scams. If you find like you're having trouble sleeping, you need to remedy Rahu, and you need to do that through meditation. Moving to Gemini. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Gemini, everything's spinning, everything's moving. This is good for you, but you don't know where you're going to land. You feel like you're turning, and depending on what position you have for yourself. Whatever position you're going to have is completely going to be new. You need to check the wisdom of the past. Gemini, you're going to create a lot of confusion. Not only are you going to be confused, you're going to be confusing people. You're going to be one of the people who inadvertently may cause deception and scams happening. So you need to be extremely, extremely careful. The area that you also need to be very careful is how you manage your finances. So whatever current investments you have and all the finances that you may have. So it's good for you and your partner. If you're expecting children, if you want to get pregnant, if you want to expand your family, this is very, very good for that. You may also find, however, that you're very confused, you're very angry, you have trouble communicating, you feel like you're not restraining, you need to practice a lot of restraint, and this will bring a lot of joy in your household, for your children, for your family. You may also feel like there's no divine intervention, like your father is not helping you, like your teachers aren't helping you, your guides, your mentors, your guru are not helping you. They are helping you, but they're not telling you. So they are having your back in the shadows. This is going to increase your social circle, but you need to increase your discipline, especially in your body. You need to be discreet. If you find out secrets of the craft, of technology, this is true for Leo as well. Be quiet. Don't tell people, keep it for yourself, because you're the one that needs to work with those things for a while to integrate them and then tell people. Don't feel pressured if other people are telling it. So don't spill the beans easily. Be very careful with your brothers and colleagues who are close to you, like your colleagues who are like your older brothers. Stop trying to be their older brother. What's your expectations about them? Stop trying to be the older brother of your older brothers and sisters. Help those in needs and listen to peaceful music, sacred music, and chant your mantras. Going to Cancer now. Again, you need to be very discreet. You're going to have a lot of gossip around you, and you're going to find out secret information. Don't act. Let it sit with you. Be chill. Watch your sleep. Be very caring for your mom. Care for your mom's health. The scams and the deceit are going to come in probably job promotions and whatever seems like a shortcut at work. Don't lie at work. No gossip, no criticism. Don't talk bad about others. Even if it's true, you may be very, very wrong. There's a lot you may not be able to see. Think of it like you're temporarily blind, so you can't see the truth. So you don't need to go out and say things about people, right? You may feel like you have fear, paranoia, fear of the unknown. Is there someone around that corner who's going to stab me? Why is there so much pressure at work? But that's all in your mind. You need to meditate. Your relationships want to grow. You need to surrender. Your energy may feel like it's being wasted, but you need to practice containment and restraint. You are getting good energy. It is going to be there, but you need to contain the energy. You need to be detached from home. You may need to find a new balanced work life. That's normal. You need to serve people and help people, and just relax, because your boss is going to challenge you a lot, but there's nothing to be done about that. Just bear with whatever challenges your boss will have for you. Going into Leo now, the area that you need to be very careful with is your teachers, your guru, and your education. That's where scams and tricks may come. That's where your spiritual leaders will show something weird or betray you. What if your own what if you are your own boss? You need to watch for yourself how you are guiding yourself. But it may also relate to your father. So going back to Leo, things like what's happening with the spiritual teachers and religious leaders is going to come to the surface. Cults are going to be revealed, and the leaders of the cults are going to be apprehended, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. You're going to invest in an education, and it turns out it's a scam, it's a fake university, all of that. You need to be very careful. Again, I'm not saying not doing, I'm not saying you're 100% going to be scammed. I'm saying there's a possibility of that, and you need to be careful. Relationships feel slow, heavy, and delayed, but this is good for you. Imagine sometimes relationships are moving really fast. Kids are going fast. The honeymoon period of your relationship goes fast. So sometimes we want things to slow down in our relationships. This is the moment where that's going to happen for you. So watch out in your relationships. What would you like it for it to be slow? That's going to happen. But if you learn to ride that wave, that's all for you. Your vitality is going to be good. You need to be very active and use it. It's a good period for luck, but you need to be spiritual to support your luck. If you want to do something that involves luck, pray and meditate. You need to foster your relationship with your father. This is going to help you a lot. You need to fix your relationship with your father. Stop wasting time on that. You need to learn new skills for your professional field. You need a new skill for your professional field. This is the time to do it. This is also good for your kids if you have them, or tiny little projects that you may have, which are also symbolized by children. This is going to be good for you. Be forgiven, be diplomatic, don't hold grudges, don't be blunt, don't be cruel. You need to be very compassionate. And if you feel like you need to take a trip for educational purposes or a pilgrimage, now is the time. Woo! All right, guys, we're halfway there. I'm going to do the last signs, and remember that at the end of the talk, I'm going to give you the best thing, which is the secret method that you can use to identify very, very much more than I'm saying, more specifically to you, what this transit is going to look like. Virgo, you need to be very careful with enemies. The enemies may seem heavy, but they are also hidden. You may find like your teachers are being secret and mysterious, like you're learning things in mysterious ways, like there are unknown things happening, like there are dream things happening, confusing things. Just be careful with that, because your intuition is very high, but that's also where the universe wants to scam you. Mind you, guys, all of this that I'm saying scam is Rahu. Rahu wants to put a carrot in front of you, but just to show you where you want to go. Rahu wants to make you rich, so I can finally realize, oh, I didn't want to be rich. I didn't want the partner. I didn't want food. I didn't want intuition. I didn't want powers. All I wanted is to be free. So what this huge transit is teaching you is to practice your buddhi, your discernment. Anyway, so Virgo, this is an amazing time as well. Virgo and Aries are some of the ones that are going to have some of the best time. It's really good for your relationships. You may feel a little bit burdened. You may feel a lot of work, like people are asking you to perform a lot in work, but it's good for you. If you have a relationship with your father, this is very good for that. And it's also good for your father's relationships. You may feel like plans are changing constantly, like you can't find your stability outside, and you probably want you to go back to your inner stability. That's why Virgo is a sign that is light but grounded on the earth. You need to put your physical body at work. If you have an office, you need to be there. If you have a job, you need to be there. If business isn't moving, you need to go to your business, sit down and be there. Be at the office, be at the workplace, physically be there. Even if it's online, you're gonna have to figure it out. The key to do it online is to have an office at home. Don't work, at the dining table or at the bed. Make sure you have an office space at home. And if social media is your platform, for example, you need to be there with people, engaging, physically be there, show your body, be live, etc. You may find like there's a lot of pressure in financial management, especially in household related stuff. It may feel like it's out of control and like there's a lot of sudden expenses. So you can't plan, you can't prepare. It's all part of the plan. Be flexible, be smart, be prepared. It's going to be okay. The support and guidance that you're going to get from your partner is critical. So open up space for that. You're going to have a lot of work, but you can handle it in the way that you usually do with detail. But you need to be using your vitality a lot. You may feel like relationships are under control despite the pressure and everything's going good and stable. And also you're probably going to receive a lot of gifts and inheritance. If you don't have vitality, you need to chant Mars-related mantras, which is, of course, Hanuman Chalisa. Libras. I know we have a lot of Libras out there. Okay, so during this period, you're also going to relate a lot with the unknown. You're going to have to watch out a lot for your business partners and associates, like one-on-one stuff, not one-on-one teaching or mentorship. If you're opening a business with one associate, watch out. New associates are going to show up in your world. Watch out, check their credentials and double check them. Don't go into their website and see like, oh yeah, they studied here, check, nice. No, go into their website, check where they went to study, and then go call the university and make sure that they didn't get expelled. You need to check the credentials of people, make everything legal, be extra cautious, extra legal. Whatever commitments you have during this transit, everything in writing, everything legal, everything signed, exaggerate that to the maximum. If you have a new friend, say, hey friend, this is your contract for friendship for 6 months. Let's renew it when we get the chance. Even like that, I promise you guys for Libra, you need to do extra legal stuff this period. You're going to get along with people very, very well, but that may actually lower your guard and your standards. You need to be very firm again. Manage your boundaries. Just manage your relationship with your partner, and that's all. Everything else will fall into place given that you handle these relationships well. It may be tough for you, for Libra. You may find a lot of obsessions and like you're throwing so much expectations on people. You need to realize that projections that your expectations that you have are just projections on the screen. So instead of seeing the person, you're putting a blanket on top of them, and then you're using your projector to project something on them. You're projecting a reality on top of the reality, and that's not good, Libra. You need to maintain the pleasantness of the relationship and keep your hands and eyes to yourself. If you have a relationship, you need to contain it and remove your projection and remove the covering. Allow yourself to see people as they are. Because what you're really trying to do in your soul is that you're actually trying to see the mysterious side of people. You're able to see them as they are, but not through your expectation. You can see the hidden part. Now, Scorpio. Scorpios, you're going to have so much job possibilities, a lot of creativity. You're going to find like your intelligence is higher than ever, but some legal stuff may be there for good or ill. If there is any competition for Scorpios, you're going to win. This is true for Virgo as well. Virgo, whatever competitions you go in, you're going to win, no matter what. Now, your co-working relationships are going to be disturbed. You need to be positive above all. Whatever the result is, whatever you're feeling, appeal to the light in the other person first. Positivity will help you a lot during this transit, but no matter what, there's some disturbance in co-working spaces. Be very careful in your professional relationships because that's going to give you a lot, but you need to be careful. So be positive, appeal to the light in them, and do the best that you can. After October 31st, you're going to start getting tons of recognition in the professional field. I know you want to change your job, and that can bring a lot of change in your life. But however, for Scorpio, that is actually also the area that they need to watch out for, because that's what they feel they need to do. That's also where the universe is going to challenge your discernment. So you may be tricked. You may be getting an offer that sounds too good to be true. And that will also be true for people who want to come into space, people who are new relationships, new partners, new suitors, new romantic partners, whatever it is in your life that is coming new, you need to be very, very careful with. That's the area where the universe will try to scam you, right? If you have any health problems, you need to check them as soon as possible, and they will heal very quickly, given that you check them as soon as possible. As soon as you feel something, get it checked. Don't spend your money on impulse. However, there's going to be expenses, and they're going to be feeling out of control. You need to relax because your income is going to be very good anyway, because your job is going to expand more than most people in this year. There's a lot of stability at home, but it may not be what you think. You basically, at this point, all the new relationships that are coming in the next 6 months for Scorpio, there's going to be a lot new people coming, and they're both friends and enemies. But basically, you don't know which is which. That's where your confusion will be. So be very careful. Your connection with partner may feel like it's being refreshed, like new love, new excitement, new passion relationship, and the unknown factor that is binding you together is getting stronger. Your spirituality will also get energized. So the unknown in your life is getting energized. Unknown fears, unknown talents, unknown connections to the spiritual world. So mysteries will be there. You may find like you want to look into mysteries, like, oh, I want to research that, even dark stuff as well. Don't be too self-absorbed. Be real, be connected, but don't do it in the mind. You need to actually do the act of reaching out to people. It doesn't matter what you send them, just say, hi, I'm thinking of you, or hi, I'm not thinking of you, and that made me think of you. So reach out to people. Don't do it mentally. Do it when it comes. Focus on the others as well, on your relationships. Don't think only, how can I advance? Think group teamwork. How can we together advance? Be close to those who are already close to you. Just watch out for the new ones, because they are appearing and popping out of nowhere. Sagittarius. Oof, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I said this to some people at the beginning of the year when I gave the talk that belongs to the yearly readings for some of you. Aries, Virgo, and Sagittarius, you guys, this year is amazing. Sagittarius, you may have felt like you're waiting for that 1 year where things finally fall into place. This is it. So amazing. So Sagittarius, you may feel like your partner feels, and they will feel strong and vital and powerful and sexual and intense. Also maybe mean and angry. If you're single, you may find like you're actually getting a little bit attracted to people who are mean and angry. Like, oh, that person is a really bad boy, or that person is like a really mean girl. And you're going to find like you're kind of liking that. You're liking things that you didn't like before. Now, you may feel like you have a really strong ambition that is the healthy type, so you need to detach. You need to observe your ambition, make sure you have the right type of ambition, gaining, positive gain. So gaining health, prosperity, stability, happiness, beauty, and means to have a beautiful life, but also wanting that for others. That's healthy ambition. It's all coming for you, but you don't need to obsess about it. Just work. You will feel also like you're bursting with new ideas all the time. And you're going to feel like you're so creative, more than ever before. You're going to find new creative ideas, like a rainbow of new ideas all the time about improvements in relationships, in business, on fulfillment. Great ideas. You're going to find creativity in work, but at the same time, how can I be happy even as I am? So you're in the zone of coming. You're going to find a lot of love, a lot of creativity, a lot of love and creativity, and a lot of creativity and love. So the more you invest in those two, the more they're going to get bigger. It's like really the best description I can give is like a rising rainbow of everything, all goodness. If you want to learn something new, it's good for you. And if you've been thinking, I've been wanting to learn about this, you need to use this period. If you've always been passionate about something, it is the period. Even if it's a career, even if it's not something that you want to do for business, but it's a career that you've always been invested. For me, it was paleontology. So there are free paleontology universities online now. I'm going to sign up. It doesn't cost a dime. Now I can finally learn paleontology, whatever it is. You must, however, stay honest in all terms of education. If you have a teacher, you need to be brutally honest, be honest with yourself and education and whatever education processes you have, mentorships, courses, guides, college, whatever it is, you need to be extremely honest. And if you haven't, that's going to be flushed out. Your network is going to grow, and you're going to be with friends and people a lot, new friends, networking, your spirituality will increase as well. You are also, however, going to feel the push and pull that I described at the beginning of materialistic nature and spiritual stuff. You're probably going to feel it the strongest, but you're the one who is going to direct it. Sagittarius is fire, but the beauty of this fire of Sagittarius is that it's the fiery arrow that goes in a direction and that brings light to the beacon. And you're going to have a really strong sense of happiness, and you're going to feel a lot of support and appreciation. The part that you need to be careful with is new potential partners and the excess of creativity. You're going to have a lot of ideas, but not all of them are great. You need to write them down and check them before you bring them to life. Capricorns. The Capri. All right, Capricorns. A lot of Capricorns around me. You may want to feel like you want to take long distance travels, like you want to spend a lot of money, a lot of spirituality stuff. You want to travel, you want to communicate, you want to be with your siblings or learn from your siblings or even have more siblings. All of that is highlighted. However, you may feel like your peace is disrupted, but it's all mental stress. So you need to meditate. You may feel like home's not going well, like there's chaos at home, but it's actually not real. It's only your perspective. You need to realize that you're safe. You're not going to die. Home is safe. It's all mental. You need to change your perspective and meditate. The only thing at home that you really, 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 really need to watch out for, more so than any other sign, is your mother. Care for your mother. Be kind with her. Be loving with her. Protect her health. Protect your mother and love your mother to the best that you can. It's very important. Your workload feels very heavy, but it's going to make you grow and make you more stable. You may change your career, maybe suddenly, and you may even feel like you need to move for work. That's normal. Just check out everything thoroughly, legally. It's going to be an expensive time. This is inevitable, no matter what you do. So even if you're trying to save money, you're going to spend money. It's a period when you're supposed to spend. So you can choose where you want to spend. Where do you want to invest your money? Because still unexpected spending will come. So the only thing you need to watch out for is control your excessive spending that you may already have. And surprise expenses may come from home, redecorating, renovating, probably fixing problems and leaks at homes. Now, whatever is in opposition for you, your enemies are going to be feeling strong. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's a great blessing. But you may find like there's a lot of power in your enemies and that you may clash a little bit with the authority, police and military. You need to be very careful with this. Be very respectful of the police. Almost, I don't like saying it like this, but honestly, it's almost like you're respectful and a little bit afraid of cops and military. Be extra careful. Do whatever you can to not disrespect them, no matter what. Be good with them. And if you're finding challenges in there, you're going to have to find another avenue to fix it, which is with firefighters. Help firefighters. If the firefighters local in your town are doing a blood drive, go support them or donate anonymously to firefighters, whatever it is. Your partner is working very hard, maybe too hard, but you need to detach your feelings and thoughts to see what's really going on there. They are probably growing. If you start being more creative, that's a place where you're going to get a lot of more new relationships. Again, care for your mom. And in terms of being really careful, I want you to be really careful on real estate transactions, paperwork, and legal stuff. Aquarius. We're almost done, guys. I'm out of breath. Aquarius. Your money is going to come from communication. So you need to keep that open. Communication is in the throat, and that's integrity. You need to be brave. You need to make efforts. You need to be courageous. Short travels are okay. Social media is going to be extremely important, and that's true for everyone, but especially for our social media. You need to focus on your finances, but don't obsess. You may feel like you're being obsessed about it, and you're working hard for it. Just don't obsess about it. You may start a new job. You need to work fearlessly. You may find like your finances are going to be multiplied. Creativity is amazing for you, but it needs power and discipline. You may feel some challenges there, but that's where the power is. Now, you need to be careful in the IT and technology world. It's really good. It's really expansive. It's going to grow, but you need to be caring for it. The AI world will show you things that you don't want to see. The technology world will show you things that you don't want to see. And you're going to find even cybersecurity issues. You need to be careful with your electronics, all of that. Extra careful with your computer, with your phone, with your whatever it is. Stuff may be feeling heavy, but whatever feels heavy in your life just needs some discipline and working hard to find the rhythm of the material. Don't be flexible with your discipline right now. Be firm. Don't be like, oh, I'm just going to meditate in the afternoon instead in the morning, and next day in the morning, and then in the afternoon. No, be firm. And for those of you who are around me, you know, I'm even reevaluating the way I give you guys discipline between male and female, right? Depending on when you feel and what kind of energy you feel identified with in your discipline, you're going to have to select and choose, because you may feel like your discipline in art is more feminine than your discipline in work. For example, discipline in work may be more masculine, right? I'm using a very gross example just to get the message across. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. Your teachers, they show you controversy, like the stuff I've been talking about. You need to detach completely. You may seem like they are not guiding you as well, but this is because right now an outside teacher is probably not what you need to learn from. You're probably learning from your partner. You need to make sure that you learn from your partner. Maybe that's where the teaching comes. So find out. You need to be relaxed about your mom. Your mom is safe. Your mom is happy. She's going to be safe at home. Just enjoy the joy of your mother. Bring joy home. Bring friends home. And relate to your friends at home. Go to their home and bring them home. Have good times with the friends, not intense bad times with the friends. Take your friends out for ice cream. It's great for your relationship. And just be mindful that you're going to have to be detached. Your information online may be lost. Your cloud may be lost. Your something bank account online, something's going to happen. Your external hard drive may be at risk. Just be very careful with that. And whatever unethical ideas come to your mind, that's where you need to watch out for. Flush them out through meditation. Be very careful with what you say, especially through technology and social media. Stay out of controversy on what you say and do publicly. Be accurate, be truthful, be thorough, and check the paperwork and the implications of all of this. Do not argue with your siblings. Who's failing at this? I mentioned the example of the Dalai Lama so many times already, all the controversy that is happening. Whether I know the truth of it or not, whether I say this happened or not, it's a cultural thing, and it doesn't matter. A lot of people are reacting to it, and that's not a bad thing, right? Don't argue with your siblings. Pisces. We have reached the final sign, guys. You see, it's the 12 signs. I didn't do nakshatras. Nakshatras are 27. It would have taken us 2 days to do this, but here we go with Pisces. Pisces, you may be doing a lot of accumulation. You need to be very detached, let go of stuff, let go of mind, let go of emotions, stop accumulating notions and stuff, let go of it, surrender, get rid of thoughts, refresh your mind, bathe your body, bathe your mind, bathe your house, get rid of stuff. You're also going to feel like this. Look at all these business options. You're going to be working really hard, but a lot of the business options are going to be fake and confusing. It's no one's fault. It's probably a Gemini that is not doing the recommendations, who wasn't in the stock. It's probably something like that. So you need to be ethical, you need to be pure, you need to be truthful, you need to be careful. You're going to feel like your bros are coming, your friends are coming, your mates are coming, your colleagues are coming, and they want to spend time with you. They may want to spend time with you at home as well. You may feel like you're juggling life, like you're improving your income, but you're also spending more money. That's okay. You're just opening both channels. That's fine. Now, whatever you may be waiting for legally is going to come in this period, perhaps even an inheritance. This is also true, by the way, for Virgo. Be careful with how you are communicating. Whatever you say, you may be burning bridges, be extra careful, watch your diet. Relationships again with brothers, mates, friends, co-workers, colleagues, all of that are going to be very strong, and they want to be with you. They want to be with you at home, and they want to bring you home as well. Be very carefully with how you deal with other people's feelings. This is the time in which you need to be careful with what other people think, what other people feel. Watch your mouth. Do exercise and do reflection. These are all the 12 signs, guys. Oof. Let me catch my breath. Now, how's it sounding so far? Is it making sense? Just write in the chat. No, or It's a lot of information, huh? All right, guys. We reached the end of the talk. I said at the end of the talk, I want to give you guys a few things, secret methods that you can do to really see also more specifically how this transit is going to be for me. Would you like to hear about it? Hey, guys. So I want to give you this, but I also want to tell you something, guys. This is only looking very broadly, very briefly to a bit of the rising, bit of the moon, and bit of the sun. The implications on someone's chart are much more specific and much more complex. So now that we've taken this time to be together and to have this talk, and before I tell you the secret method, I want to ask your permission to do something. I want to ask your permission to take maybe 5 more minutes of your time right now to tell you about what we can do with this information. I want to tell you about the way that I work. I want to tell you about the way that I'm going to work moving forward. And I want to tell you also about a reading that you can get with me called Jupiter in Aries that will also involve the Guru Chandal Yoga. So you can get your own reading for this intense period that is to come. Very specific to you, tailored, specific to you. So would you like to get that information? Would you give me your permission so I can tell you about this reading opportunity that I want to give you guys? You to write down. Because sometimes I don't know if you're nodding or your computer is moving like mine, like this. All right. Thank you, guys. So let me show you that. Thank you all guys for being here. I'm so glad that you guys are here and connecting. It's so nice to see so many of you who are resounding with this amazing tool that has given me so much and that has given so many people so much to connect with themselves and their spirituality. All right. Let's see, where's the thing here? That could be you. Oops, I think that's a different slide that didn't get edited. All right, so Jupiter in Aries reading. I'm going to make this reading available to the public after this talk. And this is the things that it includes. So this is the cost of the reading. The cost of the reading is $199. What is this reading going to give you? What is this going to do for you? We're going to elaborate a few questions and a few reflections so you can see how this period can be for you. And we're going to sit down one-on-one to talk about what is it going to look like. But not only that, I'm going to give you specific practices tailored to you so that you can face this Jupiter in Aries period. And you're going to have my follow-up. You're going to have my presence throughout the space. And one of the ways in which I want to give you that presence and that follow-up is by doing something that I'll explain in a moment, that I no longer want to give you guys just, just your reading or just your endless yoga and meditation class. What I want to do now is that I want to create a program for you where it's not just a reading where you get information, not just an astrological reading where they say, oh, look, this is your sign. This is the transit. I want to be with you so that you can practice, so you can make this real into your life. And I want to give you a platform for it. I want to give you a follow-up with it. So the readings that you can get with me now, there are 3 types now. You can get your Jupiter and Aries reading. You can get the whole chart reading, or your nakshatra reading, which is your basic Vedic sign. All these 3 readings have a special added value now, that they welcome you to practice with us. I will tell you what that means. How do you need to meditate? How do you need to do postures? Even what breathing practices? How do you even need to breathe so that you can embody the better qualities of your sign and face the challenging qualities of your sign better? And I want to show you how you can navigate this intense period so that when you join the group, you have a general class, but you know how you need to practice with instructions tailored to you, so that you can really get the most benefit and you can be in contact with me as you practice. I don't want to entertain the mind. I don't want to entertain the ego. I want to serve the real you. And this is the way that we want to do it now. So when you get any reading with me, you get for 1 month the ability to join the yoga class and the meditation class. So you're also going to get all those opportunities to sit with us and practice. Of course, I will tell you the schedules and everything. And if you can't be there live, you can get a recording so that you can practice physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and have more. But as they say on the TV, but wait, there is more. So I want to give you guys something special, like I said, because you all took the time and the energy out of your days to be here with us, which I really value, I really appreciate. So what I want to do now is that I'm going to give you a special discount in this reading. So where is my note for that? Just a second. Okay, so that cost that I have there on the screen, that's what the public will pay, but you're not the public. Now you have become the VIP person of the group. Can you see my notepad? Is my notepad visible? I don't know. Is it? No. What are you seeing on the screen? Did it move? There's a big black screen on the front. Ah, 1 second. I'm juggling too many screens. All right. So too many screens, guys. Okay, so instead of 199, you would pay 109. So 109, which is one of my lucky numbers. That's why we chose that number too. And I'm going to give that only on 4 readings and only within the next 24 hours. I actually wanted to give less time because we are in a current sign that involves certain things, yada, yada, yada. We're in the sign of victory that involves certain times, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to move it to 24 hours after the talk ends. 24 hours, 4 readings will have a special discount for 109 instead of 199. And that's on the Vedic astrology reading specific for Jupiter in Aries for you. And additionally to that, of course, you get the 1 month of support and contact with me. I'm also going to open a group where you can, oh, here it is. It was on the screen all along, guys. I did make a slide. I underestimated my slide making abilities. All right. So you get that whole month of classes where you can join the group and be in contact with the group. We're going to create a platform where we can be in communication and ask questions. Like, okay, how do we do this? How does this mantra sound? Can you send me a recording of the mantra? All that stuff. Like, what sign are we on today? Should I do this legal thing today? Should I travel this other day? I want to answer all these questions. So we're going to create a group where we can do that. And again, you can join the yoga and meditation classes that happen, hatha yoga classes and meditation classes that happen every week. So you get 2 yoga classes per week and 1 meditation class per week as well. And just to show you the way that I work, because I really wanted to take time to do this as well. Just yesterday, one of my students, former students, told me, Mars, I didn't even know you're still teaching yoga online. And, you know, I'm not a social media expert yet. I will become one. And perhaps sometimes in social media, we don't convey exactly all the message of all that we do. And I know some of you even that are extremely talented, and exposing what you do in social media is not very easy sometimes. Like I see all of you being very talented, and it's hard to pour all your talents into a social media platform, right? So I know how that is. But just to cut it short, basically right now we have 3 sections. You can get your readings, like your Jupiter and Aries reading that I'm talking about. You can also get a one-on-one mentorship with me, on which we go for 3 to 6 months together, one-on-one sessions per week, looking at your chart, looking at your life, and where you want to go. Don't look at this information in the bottom. I actually didn't copy paste the right stuff there, so don't look at this bottom stuff there. But you have one-on-one with me, and during that period, you can also get access to the groups, the meditation, and the yoga classes. And of course, you can also do only yoga and meditation, which is what some people are also doing, only yoga and meditation classes with yours truly, which are 12 classes a month, of which you also get your recording. So that is the way that I work. Last thing I want to show here is that I do have a big reading and a small reading, which I'm going to show you right now before we get into the secret practice I want to give you guys. So here you can see I posted this on social media too, by the way, so you may have seen it already. Is it still loading? Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, all readings grant you access to more stuff. The 2 readings that I usually have available save the Jupiter and Aries reading. So the specific reading for this period, and 2 other readings, your basic sign nakshatra and the full reading. If you get a nakshatra reading, you get additional benefits such as a lunar mansion report. So a written report where you get all this information. This is all included. You get your reading, you get to join the discussion group, and you get your month of yoga class. And if you get the full reading, you get all of that. You get the full reading, and you get one-on-one sessions as well, where you can talk one-on-one with me, where we can discuss the results of your practice. Some of you, for example, have been practicing with me on the SEED program, which is a program where we do the mantra repetitions, and they can discover things with the mantras immediately. And on that program, that is a free program that we did first, we get to use a mantra just to trigger a certain dimension of our life. If you get a full reading, we do practices for many other dimensions of your life. So it's much more specific. And we sit down, you and me, every week for 20 minutes to see where your life is and how the results of this are going. And you also get a book that has been developed for yoga from scratch, which is a course that I've given in the past. You may have taken it. And the beautiful yoga from scratch book has been now redesigned in a way that it'll give you about 100 pages of information on culture, history, and practices for spirituality, as well as exercises and reflections that you can do for spirituality and all of that. So that is all the information. And now I want to tell you a secret method for the transit to come. So thank you guys for lending a good air to your time and energy. So ready for a secret method of spirituality to see how this transit is going to be for you? All right, guys. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take time to write the following notes. And you're going to have to do the reflection over the next few days. Again, the 21st of April is when this period will become, I guess, officially initiated or inaugurated. But even before that happens, there is things already at play that give you a hint how things will look like. So this is the secret method that you need to do. You need to pay a lot of attention and awareness. You need to use an expansive awareness, and you need to start doing it in reflection, contemplation of meditation. Whatever you see in social media, in the news, in your relationships, and in the world around you, find out what the common theme is. You need to pay extra type of attention. Why is this useful? Because the gears are already turning. I already gave a couple examples. Even the Drake Bell things that happened this morning, even the Dalai Lama things that happened this morning, all of that is related. And whatever you see in social media, in AI, all of that is already a thing. Write down the common thing. And why is this useful as well? Is because you're going to start paying more attention to things and keywords and key things at play, so that when 22nd of April begins, you are already ahead of the game. So you're not reacting, you are acting and activating. Here's another very important thing. I want you to go back to your Facebook memories, to your journals. I want you to ask your relationships, your friends, even people that you haven't talked about in a long time. 13 years ago, 12 years ago, 11 years ago. And if you need more specific dates of the transit on Aries 12 years ago, send me a message. And you need to ask yourself, check your journals, your Facebook memories, like I said, blah, blah, blah. How you were, what happened, and where did you end up? For me, for example, it's a key. Even currently right now, as this is about to happen again, I am in the place where I was born, with my family, going through changes and visiting the places where I started my spiritual journey. I am literally hosting a workshop on the place where I took my first ever yoga class, which is 12 years ago. So I saw where I was 13 years ago to 12 years ago. What happened? I began my journey in spirituality. And then where did I end up? 11 years ago. So 13, 12, 11. 13, 12, 11. Don't leave it only to your memory and your mind. Though, of course, I recommend that you sit down in silence, in only yourself, and you breathe and you reflect and you meditate, and you even ask your own awareness to bring you memories, even repressed memories. There are practices for this. Just being present will help you improve your memory. But don't leave it only to the active part of your mind. Like, don't sit there and just be like, oh, let me just wonder. No, concentrate. Be very firm about it. And like I said, don't leave it only to yourself. Ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your siblings, ask your friends, even people that you don't like or don't like you, even your teachers, even people that you have frictions with. Repair those relationships and talk to them. You, even as I'm saying this, I see some serious faces. You may already be thinking, oh, snap, back then I did something really embarrassing. You know, or back then, oh, that's when I realized something, but I never acted on it. Or, oh, back then I remember blah, 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 something happened and something really amazing unfolded in my life. So, yes, not on this day, Corina, thank you for asking. Let me check the chat. Hope I didn't miss any questions here. 11, 12, and 13 years ago. So let me actually pull up the exact period for you guys. 1 second. Let's give it to you already. Pull out my notes here. Yeah, so I want to give you the exact dates so that you can see. Because I actually wrote down 12 years ago. But I also wrote down, because I think I went Jupiter in Aries, guys. I think I went back to even the previous incidences that happened. So what I did is I even went, so this is of course 2011-ish, right? I also went to the 80s, I went to the 60s, I went to the 50s. Is this it? I think I had it differently. Okay, here we go. And you can even, another exercise that you can do, guys, is that you can also Google stuff. Though actually, I honestly recommend using GPT a little bit more now because it's actually a lot faster. That's what I did. I said, hey, Chat GPT, give me top 10 financial events that happened between blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And it would give you. It's a little bit, I had to actually program GPT a little bit, mind you, because its responses are a little bit dull and dark. Like, it was only telling me like really messed up stuff. And I'm like, no, GPT, give me a little bit, like, even something nice happened. And Chat GPT is like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a computer. And I'm like, no, hang on. Anyways, my Chat GPT anecdotes. Okay, so here goes the dates. From March to September 1964, Actually, let me write. Can you write them down in the chat? Thank you. March to September 1964. February to August 1976. February to June 1988. Very important period because that's when my mom was pregnant with me. Great period. 5 stars. January to June 2000. And April 2011 to May 2012. Like I said 13, 12, and 11 as well, because I want you to broaden that. Because like I said, the gears are always in play, even with Mercury retrograde and the solar eclipses and blah, blah, you know that it doesn't kind of click, you know, it's not like a Pomodoro thing, like, oh, ding, now Mercury retrograde is here. It actually starts playing a little bit sooner. So you can smell it coming. We're like, I feel a little bit of Mercury retrograde coming up here, right? Let me see. Okay, I'm just going to double check. You know what? Why am I doing this the hard way, guys? Okay, here he goes. And I had it all along, guys. Okie dokie. Interesting, Annika. Yeah, things are going to start playing, and if you observe, you're going to realize, oh snap, they've actually already been playing for a while. For me, it's totally been bad. And mind you, there are like, for example, for me, I'm feeling a lot more desire to be in my spiritual discipline, like that eagerness, but at the same time, business is like behaving really weirdly and even questioning many things and reaffirming many things. So if I give you a peek behind the curtains for me as well, right? So many things have happened since we got here. Like some of you know, like we had to travel, health stuff. We've been to therapies with my family, finding out old stuff. I've had family members in the past. We've been only here like 3.5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And I've had funerals, hospital, people getting injured, stuff happening. It's been incredibly intense. We lost a pet that we've had for 20 or so years. And so it's all things that are moving live, like knocking on my door, like, hey, do you want to change your heart about where your heart is, about what you want to do, about your spirit? And I'm like, oh, no, thanks. Are you sure? Because this is getting very heavy. Oh, no, thanks. Last thing I want to say. We transmute things. That's what we're supposed to do. And we can all do a better job at transmuting things. If you feel weight, you need to turn it into pressure, not weight. It's not supposed to deform your posture. Take it and let it change you. Go back to your posture, go back to your breath, breathe deeply, keep going. Don't let yourself fall into the pressure, into the weight, sorry. That's what most people who are not conscious, I would say, or spiritual mature, or in a different path than yours, that's what's going to happen. People will give in to the weight. And they will twist. Ooh, spooky. They will change, they will shift, they will do unethical things. Stay true to yourself. Be firm, be confident, be audacious, be loving, be ethical, be truthful, be spiritual. All right, everyone. I took way more of your time than I anticipated. Any last questions, comments, concerns? Now's the time. Yes, Claire, go ahead. Oh, here we go. What is really bad traumatic stuff happening during that time do you recommend? Like, what do I recommend to look at? You can open your microphone if you want. That's also fine. Is it good to travel for Scorpio? I believe for Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken, is short-term travel. And one important thing about travel, everyone, mind you, for predictions and periods, the purpose of the travel is also important. More specific things about your chart, book a reading. I'm curious about Joy's question. Can you perhaps rephrase that for me? Because I couldn't get it. What is really bad traumatic stuff happening during that time? If you're asking me what traumatic stuff I recommend having no traumatic stuff whatsoever. Oh, I can't hear you. Is it on my end? No, we can't hear you, Joy. Is it okay?
I think maybe Joy might be saying, at least for me, is how would you use the traumatic stuff that happened 12 years ago now? Because I think a bunch of us went through some horrible breakups and life-changing things 12 years ago, which shaped who we were and had a knock-on effect for years, good and bad. So I wonder how do we look at what happened 12 years ago and bring it to today? Because I don't want to break up again. It took me this long just to get
over. So definitely was an intense period. If you look at it for the world, like I said, for good or ill, it's never only negative or positive. Now, for example, back then where I was and where I am now is day and night. Like those who are more familiar with my story, like Tiff is saying something as well, like I don't think I've talked so much about this, but I plan on talking more about my personal life and in social media to kind of show you where I've been. But in that period of my life, it was like all gone. It was complete tamas, complete darkness. It was very dull. It was very awful. I had just come out of incredibly intense situations with authorities. I had near-life experiences, near-life, I don't think so, near-death experiences. I was extremely depressed, extremely suicidal. I had very poor physical health. I was very sick. And I had a few experiences where I almost died, very bloody, violent deaths. Like it was a literal bloodbath in my life for that period that led me to a very dark period. And that is not where I am now. It's very different. So how can we observe these things? Whenever we want to observe, we need to be detached and we need to be present. So let's say you're doing the journey of observation and you're reading the notes. If you're not present and you're just like in mental mode, you're going to be in autopilot, processing. You're not going to have the same result as if you stay present. You feel your body, you feel your breath, you feel your presence, you observe the detached. You allow the emotions of the thoughts to play, but you just observe them, such as, I can see how I felt that. Oh, look, this is making me react with that past emotion, with that past impression that I say. Just the detached observation of it allows you to have a lot more distance and releases the power that it holds on you. If you cannot observe it in a detached way, that means that it still has a lot of power over you. That means that there are some practices that need to be done to analyze that, to observe that, to transcend that. Basically, how this is happening is karma, because karma behaves like waves. So in other words, the period that is coming is just a particular wave of karma that will flush some things to the surface and move things in a particular way. So of course, it's not saying it's going to happen the same, because you have all matured. but it is definitely asking you to recognize how far you've come and whatever you needed to let go of in that period. Observe if that is still at play in some level in you. And observe also if this transit blesses you very much, how far you have come. More practices that you can do with this are done in meditation and reflection. But for all of you, I would also very highly, very strongly recommend taking action. And one of the best places to take action with all of these things is in your relationships. That's why I really encouraged talking to your friends and your family about who you were. Let's see. Am I answering the question? Right. But it's a beautiful question, of course. Like I don't want to repeat it. My mentor would challenge me when I would say these things, and she would say, okay, prove it. So let's prove it. You don't want to repeat the pattern? Prove it. Do the action. Observing. That is what spirituality is for, so that we can tap into grace, and grace is what really moves us beyond the patterns that we have faced. All right, everyone. I think this is a good stopping point. I'm really happy that we got the chance to spend this time together. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Send them on a little message or an email. I wish you all a really wonderful time. Thank you all so much for this. I look forward to chatting with you. I would love to do some readings for you. And one last thing, of course, like I said, use the inspiration that you have to tell other people about this, so you can inspire more people to receive this information. Like I said, don't spread it as in preaching, just inspire people, right? So I really encourage you to tell people about this Vedic astrology, and tell people about me, and let us reach more people that we can use these tools for and benefit them as much as we can. So thank you all so much. Take care. I wish you all an amazing Jupiter in Aries transit. Be strong, be healthy, be truthful. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Thank you all so much. Namaskar.